Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Love and Hip Hop Miami review. So let's just get right into what happened in this episode because things were kind of crazy. So this episode picks up where the last one left off, where Rada and Nadia end up having a face-to-face conversation because obviously Nadia is Michael's side chick. He ended up getting her pregnant at the same time as Rada. And now Rada is just finding out that Michael ended up moving Nadia and their baby to Miami. So Rada immediately starts coming in hot during this conversation. She tells Nadia that since she's in Miami, she has to play by her rules. And I think that's crazy because Michael and Nadia have already been playing by their own rules. It's very clear that Michael does whatever he wants, whether Rada's okay with it or not. But I don't think that Rada was prepared to have this conversation with Nadia because even though I don't like Nadia, Nadia ate up Rada in this conversation and not in a good way. She tells Rada that she shouldn't be mad at her, she should be mad at Michael because Michael's the one that's been lying to her and he's the one that owes her loyalty. And the thing is, Nadia is right. Rada's anger should be directed towards Michael and Michael only. I'm not saying that Nadia is exempt from her part in the situation, but Michael is the one that's in the relationship with Rada, so he's the one that owes her something. So this conversation is not really going anywhere. Nadia and Rada are taking jabs at each other. Rada called Nadia a baby mama and said that she has an OnlyFans and her son's gonna be ashamed of her when he sees her all over the internet like that. And that's when Nadia decides to really go at Rada, telling her that she has 4 children that don't even live with her, and Rada's trying to figure out how Nadia found out this information, but apparently Michael has been pillow talking with Nadia and telling her all of Rada's business. According to Nadia, Michael said that Rada was his side chick, that she was being a groupie backstage and he got with her while he was with somebody else, so she feels like Rada doesn't have a right to come at her when she did the same thing. And if that is true, then Rada's just getting what she put out to somebody else, because if you were a side chick to somebody else while they were in a relationship with him and now you're going through the same situation that woman was in, then I don't really feel bad for you that much. Nadia really hit Rada where it hurts because she said that Rada's upset because she let that man dog her out for years, and then she comes into the picture for a short period of time and she's getting everything that Rada has gotten. And that was crazy for her to say, but it is the truth, and that's the reason why Rada was so triggered by it, because at the end of the day, it's the truth. I mean, it's crazy how bad Michael has her out here looking, but we can't even say necessarily that he has her out here looking like that because she knows that he was out there messing with other women and she's choosing to keep herself in this type of situation. Nadia even tells Rada during this conversation that her and Michael just slept together the other night, and that's when Rada really gets upset and she takes a drink and she throws it in Nadia's face, which was crazy because I just think women fighting over Michael Blackson is crazy to me because he's not really something I think you should be fighting over. And it's not just because of his looks, but it's also because look how he treats these women. He doesn't really care about them, so why are you fighting over him? So Rada is really pissed off. She's fuming and she ends up getting on FaceTime with Michael and she starts confronting him about everything that Nadia said in that conversation. She starts asking him if it's true that he tried to get Nadia pregnant on purpose because he thought that she couldn't get pregnant. Because that's what Nadia said to Rada during this back and forth. She said that they planned the baby because Michael thought that Rada couldn't get pregnant, and he denies this. He says that it's not true. And when she ends up asking him if Nadia and him slept together the previous night, he says that it's none of her business, which is crazy. Look how he talks to her, but she thinks that there's rules that he's following in this relationship. That's crazy that he said that to her, and that tells her everything that she needs to know. If he doesn't want to answer the question, that means because what Nadia was saying was true. And the thing is, the next day he ends up meeting up with Gael to tell her everything that's going on in his life and all the drama with Nadia and Rada, and he tells Gael that what Nadia said was true, that he did purposely have a baby with her because he didn't think that Rada could get pregnant because she was struggling to conceive. So why did he lie to Rada knowing that this is going to be on TV and she's going to see it? I mean, it's probably because he knows that Rada's going to stay with him anyway, so there's not going to be any consequences to his actions. Michael has these women out here looking crazy, fighting over him like this, but at the end of the day, does he really have them looking crazy, or are they keeping themselves in this type of crazy situation? And Michael also ends up going to meet with Nadia to talk about the situation between her and Rada, and Nadia is pissed at Michael because he feels like he's coming to her telling her that she needs to act right, but she doesn't feel like he's checking Rada. And I don't feel bad for Nadia in this situation either, because she knew for a fact that Michael was in a relationship with Rada, and she willingly signed up for this. She willingly put herself in the middle of this situation that she didn't even have to be in, and she chose to do it because Michael has money. You can't tell me that she didn't choose to get involved with him and have this baby with him for any other reason other than the fact that he has money. But Nadia was right about one thing. The only reason why all this drama is going on is because Michael's being messy, he's cheating, and he's doing a lot of lying, and then he wants to blame the women for his stress when he wouldn't have this stress if he would have just stayed with Rada and didn't get any other women involved. But Michael ends up telling her that he wants her to move back to LA, and she tells him no, that she's staying in Miami. I think that she wants to be in Rada's position, which is crazy to me because she sees what Rada's going through with him, so why would she want to be in that same position? Miami Tip and Hot Topic end up meeting up, and Miami Tip tells her about how she ended up inviting Amara to her podcast so they can work things out, but instead Amara showed up trying to expose her with information that she got from Tip's ex Chuck. And I mean, Miami Tip says that the things that Chuck told Amara wasn't true. And honestly, I believe Tip. I don't think that the things that he was saying about her was true. And if they were true, he looks bad because he ended up getting into a relationship with her after that stuff. So he was trying to make Tip look bad, but he also made himself look bad in that situation too. But I don't really believe half the things that he said to Amara. But Hot Topic is messy, and she starts telling Miami Tip that she needs to get her lick back on Amara. And I mean, Miami Tip said that she was gonna get her lick back on Amara, but I don't think that it's necessary, to be honest with you. Nothing that she said on that podcast was anything that they need to fight over or that they need to keep the drama going for, because I just feel like the beef between the two of them seems kind of forced. Zoe and Larissa end up showing up to join them, and Zoe tells them all about her little meetup with Ching Diamond, where the two of them ended up getting into it, and Ching tried to fight her because Zoe said that Ching didn't know who the father of her baby was. And look, I do think that it's messy to bring that up, that she might not know who the father of her child is, but Ching was the one that was going around telling people this information. If she wanted it private and she didn't want it to be used against her, that's probably something that she should have kept to herself. But I'll say this, Zoe looks really good, and she seems a lot happier than she was before, and I love that for her. But they catch up with Larissa, and she says that her and Shay have beef not because of something old, but because allegedly Shay said something about Larissa's daughter. I don't know if that's true because I didn't hear Shay say anything about Larissa's daughter, but Larissa's claiming that's the reason why she's beefing with Shay. I would have to see some proof of that. However, I did think it was weird that she's claiming that this is the reason why she's beefing with Shay, because earlier in the season, Larissa said the reason why her and Shay were beefing is because of a music video situation. So I'm confused as to why now she's saying it's because of her daughter. But I guess Larissa wants a storyline that's not just involving Shay, because she claims that a guy that she used to mess around with before is back in Miami, and she has to put his girlfriend in her place, which is weird to me that she would say this. I mean, I think she's better than this type of storyline, but okay, she can go for it, I guess. I guess she doesn't want Shay to be her only reason to be on the show. Look, I don't know what Gaelle's purpose on this show is anymore, because it doesn't really seem like she has a storyline, but she ends up showing up crashing Amaras event that she was not invited to. She showed up extremely late, and she immediately starts telling Amara that she had a dream that Eliza and Shay were going to betray her, that they are not her real friends, and that they are jealous and envious of her, and that she needs to be careful for them. And Amara's just playing along a little bit, but she's not really taking what Gaelle's saying seriously. But Shay and Eliza get pissed off at Gaelle, and they start going back and forth with her, and all of a sudden Amara's mom just starts going off. She starts yelling in Spanish. She's trying to get over to where Gaelle is at. She's being held back by security. So then Amara starts turning up on Gaelle because her mom is upset, and so she starts trying to get at Gaelle. Gaelle's standing there getting held back by security. They kick her out of the event, and Amara's completely upset because her event ended up getting ruined, even though I don't really know how it was ruined, because she did say when Gaelle showed up that the event was pretty much over. I'm just confused as to why Gaelle would think that she would be the right person to go to Amara and tell her anything. I mean, the two of them are not friends, and they have a really rocky history, so why she thought Amara was going to listen to anything she had to say was crazy. But the next day, Amara ends up having a conversation with her mother, and she's really upset with her mom because her mom was the reason why things got really turned up at her event, because her mom was the one that started raising her voice and yelling first, and that's when everything escalated. But Amara's mom said that she didn't care, that she was defending her, and she didn't like that Gaelle showed up starting trouble. I don't think that Amara's mom was wrong necessarily, but I can also understand why Amara was upset, because she didn't want her event to be ruined, and it happened to be her mom that caused things to escalate. And plus, Amara said that her mother has been suffering from stress and a lot of health issues, and so she didn't want her mom acting out like that at the event. So I completely understand where Amara's coming from, but I also understand her mom's point of view. At one point, Amara and her mother start crying, and then Amara's mom starts claiming that she's having chest pain, so Amara ends up telling producers to leave and that they need to get an ambulance. I don't know if she was faking that situation. I'm not gonna say she was faking it, but it did look a little staged to me. Now, Trina ends up going to meet with her ex-manager, Julian, and she brings Joy and her husband Swerve along with her for support. Apparently, they had a falling out over some money, and then on top of that, Trina says that she doesn't even care about the money situation. She was upset at the fact that she had a close friendship with Julian, even though he was her manager, and he did not contact her when her mother died. I understand why, Trina would be upset at the fact that he did not call her to check on her when her mother died, because I recently lost my mom too, and I can understand why somebody would be upset about people not reaching out. However, sometimes people don't reach out to you when you're grieving like that because they don't know if it's right for them to come try to comfort you. They don't know if they have the right to do that anymore when you don't have that type of relationship anymore. So I can see both sides of that. But what I did not like is that Joy and Swerve would not let Trina have this conversation with Julian. She brought them there for support, not for them to speak for her. But I'd say it was more so Swerve than Joy. He was talking a lot more than Trina and Joy and Julian. He kept interrupting every time Julian and Trina would talk to each other. It was like he was trying to keep the drama going and he was trying to puff out his chest at Julian. And look, I understand he's trying to protect his wife, but this is not the way to go about it. Especially because when Trina said that she wanted to put the issues between her and Julian to the side because she wants to work with him again and see if he can get her into movies because he's been trying to break into that market as well. And so while they're talking about this, Swerve ends up interrupting again and he keeps trying to go at Julian. He keeps trying to keep the drama going, and I wish Trina would have said something to her husband and told him to just be quiet and let her handle things, because I just felt like he was doing too much for me. Like, I don't think that she should bring him to any more business meetings, because if this is how he conducts himself, then she's gonna lose a lot of opportunities because of him. I get he was trying to support his wife, but the way to support Trina was to just sit there and be by her side while she has this conversation with Julian. And if Julian ended up getting out of line, that's when Swerve should step in. Other than that, he shouldn't have really said anything during this meeting. But at the very end of this episode, Michael is in his kitchen in his robe cooking breakfast, and he's cooking breakfast for two. He claims that Rada packed her things and she took the baby and left because of the whole Nadia situation. And guess who crawls out of the bed wearing a matching robe like Michael and goes into the kitchen and starts hugging on him? It's Larissa. And I can't believe that Michael Blackson is the person she was talking about earlier in this episode when she said that her ex that she used to mess around with is back in Miami and he has this crazy girlfriend. I don't know who she's talking about. Is she talking about Rada or is she talking about Nadia? This is crazy even for Larissa. I don't know if it's true that she really messed around with Michael Blackson at one point. I don't have proof of that, but what I will say is this is a crazy storyline for her to be in. Why would she even want to put herself involved in this messy ass situation with Michael, Nadia, and Rada? I get it, she wants to be on the show for more than just Shay, but I feel like she should probably stick to the Shay storyline because this one is crazy. But those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.